Okay, welcome to Lights, Camera, Barstool. Today, a few things on the menu, a couple news items, but more importantly, we have a review of Trap, the new M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's first movie, I believe, since Old, right? Or The Cabin at the
Oh,
Woods.
come on. Knock at the cabin, baby.
Whatever.
Come on. Who can forget?
Much better than Old. That movie was...
The beach that turned you old.
And then we're going to be also doing a draft of fictional or like movie bands in honor of Trap, because Trap does star M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, who plays a pop star. It was Miss Raven, right?
Lady Raven.
Sorry.
Yeah. Listen, she's 28 years old. I have no idea where she's been. The music was good. It was legitimately good music.
I mean, when you have a movie budget being poured into your...
That's true.
Musical effort in a one-time theatrical performance. Yeah, it probably helps a lot, but I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Before we get to that, a couple of things. One of the first ones being that Tom Cruise is going to close out the Paris Olympics by dropping off the Stade de France and skydiving under the Hollywood sign. The skydiving thing's already been filmed, but he's going to be doing the first part live. This all comes out right after he just got like some big French... I was going to do this in the last episode of LCB because it had gotten announced. He won like a French award, like the Honor de Merit or some shit. And they like just put a medal on his like regular shirt, which is kind of funny. But yeah, he's going to be closing out the Olympics, which is awesome. Obviously, just he's beloved everywhere he goes, Tom Cruise, and I like this. There's no bigger show in sports than maybe the Olympics, I guess. Like try to think worldwide, that in the World Cup. So why not have the world's biggest movie star do it?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. Like Tom Cruise is just simply, if it wasn't for the Scientology thing, he would pull it 100% if he was running for president. He just has not missed for like 5 years now, like in terms of these PR things. This is another one where he's also for the whole summer, he was at Wimbledon and he's just going to all these sporting events with his good friend, Christopher McQuarrie.
Yep.
Sitting next to each other, living together. He's having the time of his life is what I'm trying to say. And you love to see it. I remember those pictures came out like a month ago. I thought those were for Mission Impossible. Those pictures of him on the Hollywood sign. They were like leaked photos, and they looked like leaked set photos. Which I guess they were because they were shooting this thing for the Olympics. But I thought Ethan Hunt was going to land on top of the Hollywood sign. I was pretty excited about that, to be honest.
Cruise, I mean, it's something. Just gets the whole world excited. Plus, I mean, you earn it after you skydive into the middle of a French rave with a EDM song by Sasha Grey playing or whatever. It's so fucking crazy. Britney Spears biopic is in the work with John Chu directing. Seems like a good fit. I mean, John Chu just has a good flair for the theatrical, let's say. And Britney Spears is maybe the only thing that has me a little, I'd say, hesitant is like the Britney Spears world might be a little overwrought. Like people talk about Britney Spears a ton, considering her window of fame was not that big. She was massive, like the biggest star in the world, right? But like, how long was that? That was like until she shaved her head?
It was a good decade. It was a decade. It was like 98 to 2008, I'd say.
Or maybe that's the wrong way of putting it, of fame. Of like, maybe production then? Like,
okay, production's fair. Like, she has like 4 albums, like that are considered like real albums. And then the rest are, I think, just singles and stuff like that she just releases.
And then everything after that's kind of just
it's fair.
Everything after that's just been people doing like the Free Britney stuff, and then like they get her conservatorship ended, and they're like, oh, she should probably be in a conservatorship, and now they want her back in a conservatorship. Like, oh, it's just fucking crazy. But obviously, like no one's like she does have a very interesting story, but I feel like she's still in the news a ton, and I don't know if I'm just like where I'm at with Britney, to be frank.
Yeah. Not only that, I'm also maybe out on John Chu, who I was previously very much in on, just based on these Wicked trailers, just atrocious.
Yeah,
they're just terrible to look at. They get worse and worse too.
Yeah. The Crazy Rich Asians?
But Britney is very much just still like in the middle of her like we're going to talk about music biopics here in a minute, and we're undoubtedly going to talk about Walk Hard. One of the funniest things in Walk Hard is like they're like, no, that was early Dewey. This is middle Dewey. Like when he's like depressed and crazy. We're in middle Britney, I feel like. We're still in middle Britney. Like we need to wait probably another 10 years to get out of this fog that she's in before we can really get a full picture of her. Like, I think we're too much in the middle of it.
I didn't realize this about John Chu. Like, in John Chu, in my mind, like his filmography just kind of starts with Crazy Rich Asians. I knew he did Now You See Me Too. I did not know he did G.I. Joe Retaliation.
What?
But then before G.I. Joe and around G.I. Joe Retaliation is basically nothing but music videos for Justin Bieber.
That checks out. That checks out. Just like the way his I like some of his stuff. Obviously, Crazy Rich Asians, awesome. I was a big fan of what's it called? In the Heights. Didn't he do In the Heights too? Am I making that up?
Yes, he did do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked In the Heights quite a bit.
Also did both Step Up sequels. Step Up 2 the Streets and Step Up 3D.
Okay, I'm back in. I'm back in on John M. Chu. Step Up to the Streets. It's the best one from the franchise, and I will hear no other arguments.
No arguments.
I mean, the one with she's in the rain. Oh, so good.
Dude, he's doing
like the Puppeteer.
A Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat adaptation.
He's doing what?
Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I didn't know that they were doing an adaptation of that.
I didn't know you were allowed to do that outside of high school theater.
Did I? And to be honest, and we've said it a million times, like a lot of these theater adaptations just don't necessarily work as well once you put them on screen. I don't know how that one works without being like basically Hamlet 2 or whatever, which, by the way, very funny movie, Hamlet 2.
I don't think I've seen Hamlet 2.
Very fun. Steve Coogan movie. Very funny. So John Chu going to be doing that. White Vision is apparently... I mentioned this because we just mentioned White Vision when we did our little Marvel breakdown post-Deadpool. Yep. White Vision apparently is still in the works, coming out 2026. When you posted it on the LCB account, I had a quote tweeted with good old Robert Mugabe, kick all the white people out of here. Get rid of White Vision. We got to be done with White Vision. I don't understand how we're still doing this.
What is the thought process? Because this is one of those things where I feel like they're getting away from like a lot of the shit. Like, I feel like their hands are tied with the shit that's already in production. Like Agatha all along was like when Iger came back, their hands were tied. Like, you already have like $80 million in the hole. Just fucking finish the series, put it out. This other stuff though that they haven't even started production on, why are they still like greenlighting this stuff? Just get it off the table. Just boot it. You know you're not going to want to do it, so why keep it like? Are there contracts in place with Paul Bettany where he's going to hold you to it? Like, do you think Paul Bettany still wants to do this?
It has to be cheaper to just to dump. Even if you like lose out on whatever contract clause money, it has to be way cheaper to do that than to continue with the production. It's not like they're like dumping, Batgirl like Zaslav did or whatever. It's like a fully completed production that's just waiting to get hit publish. You know what I mean? Like, you're so early in it. You lose a little money, sure. Why go through the whole rigmarole?
They're doing it for like 100 Scarlet Witch accounts on Twitter and Tumblr who are dying to see this, and no one else. One else.
I don't know who the fuck wants White Vision.
The Agatha thing makes more sense than the White Vision. The White Vision thing, like, I think that's agreed upon as like kind of the worst part of the series, right? Like, it made kind of no sense and was a big cop out. Like, just
has no hitters. There's no shooters on the street for White Vision.
I'd watch a Paul Bettany in the Suburbs. Like that I like that little part of Vision. That was fun. Just stay there. I'd do that. But White Vision fucking sucked. He was like quoting he was talking about some ship for like 10 minutes one episode.
Yeah. I'm out on White Vision. And then lastly, one thing that I think actually does have me pretty excited, the Terminator Anime trailer looks fucking sick. That looks awesome. Fucking the synopsis they have for it: 2020 future war has raged for decades between the few human survivors and an endless army of machines. 1997, an AI known as Skynet gains self-awareness and begins its war against humanity. It's kind of just a summary of Terminator in general, but this Terminator anime that I believe is coming to Netflix, right? Looks so cool. What the fuck was it called? Terminator Zero. I thought I had written it down. But it looks so cool. I think this is like a world that lends really well to animation in general, not necessarily just anime, but like just an animated series. It's that whole sci-fi element. I feel like a lot of it, you see bits and pieces of like that same style of the original Terminator and T2 and animes from like the 90s and the early 2000s and stuff like that like Miltech stuff. And I think it's so perfect. I'm so interested in see how this works out.
Yeah, no, like you said, this is a perfect, like there's a lot of these movie adaptations into anime. This is like a one that is primed for it. It looks so good. By the way, I love looking at the IMDb page and James Cameron being listed as the first writer
Yeah.
because it's an adaptation. And then a great cast list. I know some people, especially anime fans, are purists when it comes to sub versus dub. But when you get good dub actors, it helps a lot. And this has a great English dub list. You have Timothy Oliphant is going to voice the Terminator, which I don't know what kind of voice work he's done in the past, but it feels like he should be doing quite a bit of it.
Great voice.
Great voice to be doing this kind of Western style, like awesome stuff. You also have Rosario Dawson in there, and then Andowd. Shout out Bald Andowd.
Great voice.
Yeah, no, this is I'm excited for this. Netflix pumps out a lot of shit, but I will say their animation department takes a lot of care. They do a lot of great stuff. Like between Arcane, which is like one of the better animated series I've seen in a while, and I was prepared to fucking hate it. A League of Legends animated series with Imagine Dragons handling the soundtrack. Yeah. I was like so out on it and then so in on it because they just crushed that. And Blue Eye Samurai also. Awesome. And they've had a lot of other stuff that's been like smaller, like The Pretenders. I don't know if you've ever watched that. Great. They have a lot of cool stuff. It's well done, and it doesn't make sense compared to the money they throw at their live action stuff that just always ends up being just...
Dude, their Netflix original anime page is huge. It's like 18. Yeah. It's like 200 entries in here.
They were smart. And if you're looking for binge watchers, the anime crowd is probably the number one.
I think they also did a Seven Deadly Sins, right? I think that's a Netflix original.
Yeah, they did.
That popped off pretty hard.
Not my favorite, but it is well done.
Yeah. There's a couple other ones too. Yeah. I think like out of all the things, like as far as just from a straight like genre perspective, that's definitely like one of their better hit rates in anime. And you get, I think it's maybe just because you don't, a lot of like the Netflix original things, especially when they try to do things on a grand scale, it comes off with all the stuff they seem to distribute that's live action is like such like this weird CGI sheen on shit that looks so fucking fake. And then like when they do the animated stuff, that's just not the case. And it just makes it look a lot better, I guess. But yeah, very excited for Terminator Zero and see old Johnny Connor getting killed again. Or
we need a new I'm excited for the animated series, but we need a new live action Terminator. I know they're just bad. They just continue to be bad, but one more shot. Come on, just one more.
I think so. The last one with like the like border control Terminator guy, that one wasn't great. Who I think we had actually interviewed for it. That one wasn't great. The one before that, Genesis, wasn't Dark Fate, Genesis, neither were good. I like Terminator Salvation.
The Christian Bale one?
Yeah, I kind of like it. That's McG, who you mentioned earlier.
McG, I mean, that poster was very funny.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know what we're talking, there's just like a random poster for some random Netflix movie coming up in September called Uglies. It's just a stupid poster with Joey King and Chase Stokes on the front, like looking like superheroes. It's directed by McG. It's
such like a time capsule into that era too, because it's like Christian Bale before he was doing like more serious shit, and it's also like Sam Worthington when everyone thought he was going to be the next big thing, and like I think a couple of the Common is in it. Like Bryce Dallas Howard's in like a passing role. I think is someone in that.
Is Shia LaBeouf in that one?
No, it's Anton Yelchin.
Anton Yelchin. There we go.
Yeah. I think there's a couple other people too. I'm trying to remember rather. But I kind of like Terminator Salvation. It's kind of fucking cool. But yeah, I agree with you. I could definitely do for a new one. It's just like we need to move on from trying to include Arnie in these. I think, as hard as it is to say.
Just get Alan Richardson. No, yeah. I think you need to get a foreign guy. I think it's wrong if you don't have like some campy foreign guy doing it.
Who's that guy that they're casting in the new Reacher season? The Dutch bodybuilder that's like 7'1".
That could be. We could be talking. We could be talking about something here. All right, just make him big.
Jorgensen, maybe the mountain actor.
The Viking Terminator. There you go.
Yeah, Viking Terminator. But yeah, that's most of the news for the day. Nothing else crazy really from this week for the most part. Now we can talk about Trap, new M. Night movie. A father and his teen daughter attend a pop concert only to realize that they've entered the center of a dark and sinister event. it's kind of, I feel like the trailers kind of give you the actual premise. Like this, for some reason, even though all the trailers tell you what the real premise is, this is trying to hide it a little bit. Obviously, M. Night Shyamalan, Josh Hartnett, Kid Cudi, Saleka Shyamalan, who's obviously we mentioned before, M. Night's daughter, plays a big role in this. It's like the pop star. So Trap, I think that we are mostly in the same camp as far as M. Night goes, where he's obviously had a tough 2 decades, let's say, of just really bad movies. But when he gets a concept that he can figure out, throw into a Philly atmosphere, and just do something he likes. If you get like a Split, if you get like a Cabin or Knock at the Cabin, and then sometimes you get a Trap. For every one time you get like a After Earth or whatever bullshit Avatar thing.
I think you have to I think you literally have to split his filmography from like his solo projects, his written and directed projects, away from just like the studio. He clearly just was not a studio director. Like he couldn't.
I agree.
He couldn't do it, or he picked he got signed on to terrible projects. Like After Earth, Avatar: The Last Airbender. They're just like they're almost like you can't even feel. There's no feel of M. Night Shyamalan in them. It's almost hard to even call them M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're terrible. I guess they're part of his filmography. They're fucking terrible, but
real bad.
I feel like you almost have to split them out. so bad.
With this movie, I think this definitely falls in the camp of his better work from the post like heights of M. Night for sure. You get, I would say, a really cool concept, which we'll just say this is full spoiler review. So if you haven't watched it, don't listen yet. Or maybe let's move the spoiler part a little bit ahead, actually, just so that people can just get a general sense, because this is like literally just came out yesterday. So Trap, I like Trap. I think it is in the better end of his work. I think that there is an interesting concept, which again, you got mostly spoiled I wish they didn't get spoiled at all in the trailers, but I guess that's how you drag people or get people to come and want to see it, whatever. I like the concept. I liked the sort of like execution, because I think that the bigger thing after seeing the trailers is like, how do you get this guy out of this situation when you know who and what he is that early in it? I like that. I think, and you had mentioned this right after you had seen it, the daughter, M. Night's daughter.
Yeah.
Pretty talented. She
is. Like, we'll talk about like kind of the third act here in a little bit. But yeah, as far as like, so I think it's just amazing that M. Night he said during one of the early screeners for this movie, that he made this movie just so she could have a concert film. So like, it wasn't like he just like made a concert film and then slapped on a story. He did come up with, this nice original story that works really well in my opinion. But he made this movie so she could have a concert movie. And guess what? She can kind of fucking perform. She can sing. The performances are cool and it works well with the story. She was awesome. Lady Raven, I was listening to it all morning. Very good soundtrack.
So I think if you haven't seen it yet, that's what I would say, is that it is fun is probably the wrong word. It is entertaining without a doubt. It's an entertaining movie. It is not like, holy shit, M. Night's back, like type of movie at all. It is an interesting watch. And I would say that it is worth a theater trip. Maybe not against, if you're like, hey, I have to decide between Twisters, Deadpool, or this. I probably wouldn't be like, hey, you got to see Trap first. But I would say that it's definitely one of the next options up on the plate if you have a showing at your theater. Before we get into sports, and what would you say as an elevator pitch to someone?
I would say you have to go in willing to take a gamble. I think you have to know that with M. Night at this point, that the third act is going to be a gamble. It may not land for you, or it may just absolutely rip for you. Like, that is just where we're at with him. Like, he takes these big swings and, he sets them up nicely. He's a very talented filmmaker, I think, at least, like direction wise. Like, he can do some very cool stuff, and he does some really awesome camera stuff with Mukdapram here, who, talk about a guy that's on fire, going from Challengers to this. Does some really cool stuff visually. So there is an enjoyment for everyone in the first 2 acts of his movies, I think. The same thing with Knock at the Cabin. Same thing with, I even think Old, for like even all the shit it got. Like, I think there are like good parts to that movie to start off with. And then like, it really just, that back half, that back act will make or break it for you. You have to be willing to take the gamble because it could work. But yeah, no, if you're looking for something, I thought it was fun. I think fun is the right word for this.
You think
Very
so?
campy
Okay.
at points. Josh Hartnett, if I'm going to sell you on anything, I'll start by selling you on Josh Hartnett just doing a suburban dad version of Patrick Bateman
Yeah.
is the best way to put it. And he's doing it very well.
A lot of the facial stuff too, specifically, I think, is the Patrick Bateman thing is very warranted. A lot of those like zoom ins on his or like kind of shots of his face, where like his reactions and shit, I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it's meant to be over the top. It's meant to be like that. Like it's so fun and playful. And there's funny moments. I mean, the guy you've seen him in the trailer before, who says this whole thing, it's a trap. Awesome side character. And yeah, no, I had a blast with it. I had a great time.
So to just get into like a quick sports section for anyone who has seen it at this point, I would say that like you obviously, even again, if you hadn't, it's all in the trailer, but like he's the serial killer in the middle of the concert and he's trying to escape, but like they keep like trying to stay one step ahead of him and all that shit. I think I would agree with you in that the first 2/3 is like more concrete than the last third. And it's like, and I feel like this happens a lot with like those recent movies, like you're saying with M. Night, where it's like he's almost like that meme of like the horse drawing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like the first 2/3 of it are like he knows exactly what he's doing. He's pinpoint accuracy. Everything is perfect. And then he's like, I'm not entirely sure how to do this last part. I can't draw thumbs or whatever. Like, or what's that? There's like the anime
he knows
guy.
what he wants to do. I think he knows what he wants to do, but he's like, in the last third, he's like, maybe I'll draw like a fucking eagle on this part.
Yeah.
Like, he's like just taking a big swing every single time. Like he's like, let's see, I'll do the first half. It's going to be a horse. And then, let's put a fucking griffin at the front of this thing.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can draw that.
Exactly. And I think that's funny kind of get out of this third act. And I would agree with you on that. And that maybe won't totally land with everybody. Maybe lands with others, certain people more. I would say that the ending sequence though, and it's very M. Night, but him getting led away in the cuffs, coming away with that little whatever what would you call that?
What was that?
The thing that he unlocked the cuffs with.
A spoke?
I guess. Yeah.
Bicycle spoke?
Yeah.
Yes.
Him doing that little face, that little everything, very M. Night. And I like that. That felt like a nice old school like M. Night ending.
Yes, I need to, and it gives me the platform to start the Make Trap 2 campaign. I want to see Josh Hartnett back getting more traps, getting into traps and out of traps. Once again.
More traps from
He kind of did
Josh.
2 different traps in this one. He got out of like 4 different traps actually.
When they go back to
impressive.
the place.
Goes back to the place, the limousine he gets out of. I mean, the man could not be trapped. Could not be trapped.
I would not want. I would want to keep him trapped inside of my house. I wouldn't want him to leave.
No, I mean he seemed like a good dad.
He's fine.
See, that's the beautiful thing about this movie. It's a girl dad movie. It's like it really is a girl dad movie. Which I kind of fuck.
Is he even a bad dad?
See, all of his movies have become, and they really always kind of have been about just being a dad and like protecting your kids from like the outside, like the crazy people in the world, the crazy stuff in the world. But in this situation, he's very personal with his movies, and this is like what it's like to be a girl dad, protecting your daughters from yourself, dealing with addiction. Like he's touching on a lot of stuff here, like a whole lot of stuff. And it really comes to surface in the third act. And I think that's where it's either going to like elevate it for some people, which it did for me. And then I see some people being like, what the fuck was that third act? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get why it maybe doesn't work for you, but it's M. Night, baby. We're on the train.
Dude, and it was sitting, last time I saw it was sitting at like a 40 something on Rotten. I don't think it's.
From critics, that was surprising.
Yeah. I would, if I had to put a score on this, I think I would say somewhere in like, I would say like low 70s for like as an entertaining, solid movie.
Yeah, I'm probably low 80s, but like again, low 70s, low 50s would make sense for me for some people. Like I think the first 2/3 of this movie I think are pretty undeniably just well made. Like it looks really good. It sounds really good. There's just fun shit going on. Him like just getting in and out of these situations. It's like a very compressed good season of Dexter in a way. where you're like, I shouldn't be rooting for this fucking evil maniac, but boy, oh boy, I can't help myself.
He's compelling.
I cannot help myself. Yes.
It compels me. But yeah, that's Trap. One I think that was it's kind of hard to like with M. Night to kind of like put in like a big perspective, I guess, right? Because like the heights of M. Night were so fucking massive, and it's like, how do you compare to this to like a Signs or like what do you call it? Sixth Sense and all that shit.
Signs would be my personal favorite from him. So yeah.
Yeah. I did like people, by the way, on like the red card being like, do you see the guy showed him the sign where it's like, you scarred me for life, thanks for that, with the picture of like the alien in the VHS from Signs.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. But yeah, I think
Swing Away.
A solid movie. You could definitely do worse for M. Night. We've seen much worse out of M. Night. And I would say better than his bad recent stuff in like an old, closer to, and I would say probably above, or right around a Knock at the Cabin. If you're thinking about like his recent filmography anyway. So I
also really liked Knock at the Cabin too.
Me too.
That ending was way worse for me than this ending.
I would agree.
I did not like the ending on that one.
But also people, I believe, didn't like the ending of that book either. And there was a lot of other complaints, I believe, with Knock at the Cabin. But now we can do our draft of fictional bands in honor of good old Lady Raven, our queen. Yeah. Saleka, I believe. Saleka? Shyamalan.
Yeah. Hit me up, Saleka.
So now we can do... we'll start with you first, then me. Fictional bands, 1v1 draft. You can go first. And I have a feeling who you're going to pick.
Do you? I don't know. Might play the draft board this time. I might do a little strategy this time.
Let's see it. You got first pick?
I can't do it. I got to go with my fucking heart. I got to go with my heart. It's Dewey Cox.
Yeah.
I was looking at it. I was like looking at these like other picks that would just garner me like more fan votes, more accolade or more appraisal from the fans. But I got to go with my heart. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. It's truly, besides just being one of the funniest movies in my opinion ever made, one of the more on-the-nose satires, just perfectly executed. The songs are fucking awesome. And they like... it. Not only are they awesome, they span like the history of rock and roll, which I love. Like you go from early 50s, like kind of Johnny Cash, Western-style folk music. You breach into the 60s and 70s with going to punk rock. You go into like disco rock, you do the Doors, you fucking do a Bob Dylan song for the hell of it.
The Beatles.
Actually, two Bob Dylan songs for the hell of it. Can't forget about Let Me Hold You Little Man. And then like a very retrospective, nice song to... Wait, actually, before you get to the end of the career, you do the rock remix with a modern rapper. And then the end of the career, like Willie Nelson, like retrospective song. Yeah, I love all those songs. Like they are so good. And besides that, like John C. Reilly is just great in that role. Like he really is. He just hamming it up perfectly. All the different costumes. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm. It's like evolution of dance, but music basically. Well, all-time music videos.
And that movie really did just kind of it is ruined the genre. Once you see that movie, it's tough to watch musical biopics without a very biased lens. Like you're basically just like, oh, this is like Dewey Cox. This is just like Dewey Cox.
It's exactly like Dewey Cox, yeah. Okay, for my back-to-back, I think I'll just start, and I'll do the opposite way of playing the board, and I'll just take Blues Brothers off the board. I feel like that's an easy one. I wouldn't say like, oh my God, Blues Brothers, their performances are as good or as cool as like some of the Dewey Cox stuff or anything like that. I just think Blues Brothers is one of the funniest movies. It was obviously a great skit and all that, and I think it's just like more of an iconic movie band or group, if you want to call them that, I guess.
No one's dressing up as Dewey Cox for Halloween.
Exactly. You'd just be dressing up as Johnny Cat. Like,
yes, people are dressing up as the Blues Brothers till this day.
Yeah, I would do them, and then I would just do a back-to-back with another classic. Just do Spinal Tap, get them out of the way as well. Spinal Tap is that movie, one of the OG mockumentaries.
Which drummer was your favorite?
Fucking Christopher Guest, man. Spinal Tap is a great movie. I think the actual songs. Sure. Like, yeah, I think it's more about for these two picks. It's less about like the actual music and more just sort of the fictional band aspect of it, like the iconic sort of feel of them, I guess. So I'll do Blues Brothers and Spinal Tap.
Yeah, no, Spinal Tap is so great. So I was actually looking for it last night and this morning. Not streaming anywhere. You can't even rent it anywhere right now. Which
Really?
Is insane. Jeez. Yeah, it's crazy.
I thought that'd be like everywhere.
Yeah, it's a Rob Reiner. By the way, if you don't know about Spinal Tap, it's a mockumentary about like a hair metal band or a 70s band leaking into the 80s hair metal, heavy metal rock. Rob Reiner directed it. Makes no sense how he was able to pull that off between like where in the run does that fall for his like 5-movie run?
It's like 5-movie run of like nonstop classics, basically. It's a good question.
But just incredible. Like, it's really incredible. In the same way the Dewey Cox really ruined musical biopics, that in a way, if you ever watch like another band documentary or anything like that, like especially docs, it really nails those. Like there's always a band member that fucking died at some point under shady circumstances, shit like that. Like,
Spinal Tap was his first movie too for Rob Reiner. That's so fucking crazy.
Oh, really?
It's
nuts.
That's insane.
And yeah, the music's great. I love that the song that's just about fat women. Just loving fat chicks.
Every 70s and 80s band also had you look at Queen, they all had that as well. Yeah. You have Back to Back now.
I'll do the same vein of you in terms of like maybe not the best music, but like in terms of vibes, band ruled. Actually rewatched it last night. I'm going Stillwater from Almost Famous.
Yep.
Yeah, like the music is good. Don't get me wrong, but I think it gets very much overshadowed by how great the other music in the movie is. Like you just have like classic Elton John songs, Led Zeppelin throughout. Like there's just great music that kind of overshadows their originals. But the band, holy shit, just great vibes. Like all the backstage stuff, so good. The Band-Aids, awesome. Billy Crudup with that fucking glorious mustache.
Yeah.
So awesome. And they're just like finally by the end, just finally coming to grips with hating each other. Love the final scene on the plane. Jimmy Fallon needs to get the fuck out of that movie. That's my only complaint. But yeah, no, Stillwater's cool as hell.
It's a great pick.
It's like a nice little southern rock band.
And who do you back to back it now with is the question.
That's a good question. And you're gonna get mad, but I'm blocking you here because I want him. But you can take his group work. I'm taking his solo work. I'm taking Connor for real.
Okay, no, that's good.
People called his solo album a flop. I'm telling you, underappreciated masterpiece.
There's the Osama bin Laden song,
Not
Mona
gay.
Lisa.
Not gay.
Not gay. It's so funny. The best punchline in that movie, one of the better punchline in the movies, is like the whole song being about how gay people should be allowed to get married, and then it just cuts to like I forget who, and he's like, "Yeah, they can get married. It's not illegal." We don't even know why he made that song. It doesn't totally make sense. There's actually one of the even funnier parts from that movie, and this is the Akiva Schaffer character, who I forget his name, and within Popstar, but like he's like when he went off and he did his solo work, he's like, yeah, he made a song about the things in his Jeep, and he's like doing the whole rap song, and it's like him talking about like yeah, rolled up newspaper, this, and then it cuts to like I think it was Nas, and he's like, yeah, I didn't relate to that song because I have different things in my Jeep. It's just such so many good fucking little cuts like that. It's such a funny movie.
It's so good, and it's a real shame that movie flopped as hard as it did. I mean, it's crazy that it did because we were it came out in what, 2011, 12?
Yeah, right around there.
I want to say it came out later than
never mind.
think because it was a few. Oh wow,
yeah.
So very much after like Lonely Island's like real run on SNL, but I was kind of shocked by how hard it flopped. Like you would have thought it would have done so much better. We were in such a dry spell for comedies, and we get this kind of just all timer. And
dude, when Maya Rudolph drops the hard R.
Oh yes, I forgot. She's like what is she? She's like high up at like LG or something.
She's
She
like
sells,
their like
LG
business
appliances.
manager basically, and she's like
Oh
pitching them on putting
yes,
all of their music into like the what do you call it? Free
it's like an
refrigerators for the LG.
yeah, it's like a smart fridge.
Yeah.
The fridge won't stop playing their songs every time
Yep.
you open it.
And everyone hates it.
Oh, so good. But yeah, no, I love Connor for real. He was awesome. Andy Samberg is just so funny.
He's so good in that
The whole
role.
group.
And all the songs, the
Yeah.
Mona, like the Osama bin Laden song is so funny. The Mona Lisa song is so funny. You look like a garbage pail kid. All of them were great.
The worst song is like the song that is like the most popular in the movie, which is the funniest part. The
Yeah.
donkey roll.
I'm.
You see,
Oh no! I thought you were
donkey
trying to
roll.
say the humble song, because even that was kind of wasn't that bad. Where he's just like I'm the humblest. Where it's like the
Yeah, that's like what it
yeah,
opens with, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, I'll back to back first. A band I think was actually pretty good. Like it was catchy. The School of Rock band. The main song from School of Rock I think was pretty fucking catchy, and like watching them like quote unquote like put it together as like a band I thought was cool. Performance was cool. I like School of Rock, and they made a whole goddamn musical out of it. I think that they're worthy of a spot, and then I'll back to back them with a band, a fictional band that only has one song, but it is so fucking catchy, and it makes me think like if this like guy.
Damn.
What?
I know what you're gonna take.
Four Town?
Keep going though. No. Oh.
Four Town from Turning Red. The song that they have, like, I forget the title of it, but it's so fucking catchy. Where it's like, I ain't been nobody since you, and like it's so fucking catchy. It makes you think like, how are there not a trillion boy bands nonstop just pumping out songs like these? But that's the song that got stuck in my head for a long time. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll give them a spot in here. They're almost like in SpongeBob, whatever the band that like Pearl was obsessed with that did like the 4-ply When I Cry song or whatever, the anchovy guys. Like,
Yeah.
they like purposely tried to make a goofy sounding pop band song, and it still sounds really good. So I'll back to back School of Rock and Fort Town Turning Red, two very different bands.
Yeah. No. The School of Rock is such a classic. I'm so happy it's aged the way it has.
Yeah,
It's one of those movies you watch when you're a kid and you kind of feel like it's for kids, and then you get older and you realize, oh no, this is just a really, really kind of just well-made Linklater movie.
yeah, exactly.
With maybe Jack Black's best performance, and just like you
Mike
said,
White.
a very memorable song. The song, yeah, the way they put it together is so much fun. And then yeah, Turning Red. I like that movie a lot. I wish I'd been able to see it in theaters. Still crazy.
It was
they did that.
nobody like you, by the way, was the name of the song.
There we go.
What was the name of the
Yeah.
band? All right.
I love how they dealt with fandom in that movie.
Yeah.
Like the way fandom has evolved into like the 21st century. Like how fucking insane these little girls are.
Yeah, exactly. It was Fort Town. I'm stupid. I'm like, why did I think the band name changed? But yeah, that's those are my two. School of Rock and Fort Town. You're back up.
There we go. Okay. See, the band I thought you were going to take, and they're next on my list. I'll go ahead and take them. One song. The one song gets played throughout the movie. This one song charted on real world radios. It's The Wonders from That Thing You Do.
Oh yeah.
Their song, That Thing You Do. Tom Hanks' directorial debut. Very, very good movie if you've never seen it. With just a lot of like, oh, he's in it? They're in this movie? Kind of moments. Like Elizabeth Banks shows up at one point. Liv Tyler throughout the movie. Steve Zahn, fantastic Steve Zahn role. The song is just legitimately so fucking catchy, like so catchy, and the whole movie impressively like it depends on that song actually being good because like I said, they play this song 15 times in the movie. You hear it nonstop, so it has to be good, and it was just a great old style rock and roll song. So that's The Wonders. Don't forget Oneders. The Wonders. And then my final pick. Got a lot on here.
I only have 4 left on my pool.
I got 7 left. But I want to stay in live action. There's There's one animated on here. Fuck it, we're going horny pick. I'm gonna pick The Clash at Demon Head, Scott Pilgrim, which would be Brie Larson just doing a cover of a Metric song. But that performance and that her rendition of it are so good and so iconic that even the band Metric considers that the official version now. That's the official music video for the song. It is so good. I really like all the music in that movie. I also like Sex Bomb quite a bit. They just sound like Beck. But that cover of what is it? It's Metric Black Sheep by Brie Larson is just legitimately great. The performance is fucking awesome. All the performances in that movie are so cool. Edgar Wright always has the flair for music. But
he knows it, man.
Really,
it's like him and Craig Gillespie. They just know music and movies.
Yeah, I mean that really a lot of fun. And Brie Larson just about as hot as she's ever been in that movie. So hot.
All right, last pick. I have 4 on my list. Sing Street's one of them, but like I don't like Sing Street's kind of like whatever to me.
Yep.
Sex Bomb was also on it. Soggy Bottom Boys, Oh Brother Where Art Thou? I think I'm gonna go with more, and it might not have the name notoriety. They may not have. Actually, no, they do have the bangers. Max Rebo and the Jizz Whalers.
There we go.
Max Rebo and the Jizz Whalers. I mean, I feel like that's just one where they got the one song, the Cantina song, which I believe is those aliens were a part of his band, right? But let me see. I actually got to double check that.
Yeah, the backup, the
Cantina song. I just want to double check because those aliens you don't see them again later.
And see, this is funny because next up on my list was actually Slice Noodles.
Slice Noodles, yeah. But Max Rebo and his Jizz Whaler band, or Max Rebo band, got to go with them. Fictional alien pop music. I didn't realize that they had like a subgenre within that. And I'm going to go with them more just for like the iconic sequences and the fact that fucking George Lucas just one day he's like, yeah, we're going to have jazz music. We're going to call it Jizz. And everyone's like, eh. I mean, not that Jizz was the same thing then, but still it's just funny.
Was it not though? I feel like
I don't know when Jizz became a saying. I just got no fucking
Jizz
clue.
feels like it. You look at it and you're like, Jizz. It's kind of a guttural, like you kind of know what to call it.
Let's see. Jizz used to mean energy. Oh. What the fuck? I have no idea. That's actually a really good question.
Who was the first person to be like, yo, that's Jizz?
Exactly. I'm still sticking with Max Rebo. That means that your team is Dewey Cox, Stillwater, Connor Friel, The Wonders, and I believe it was Demon Head, right? Was the name of her band?
Yeah, I think The Clash at Demon Head. Is that the full name?
And then my team is Blues Brothers, Spinal Tap, School of Rock. What was the actual band's name in School of Rock? I don't actually remember. Was that their actual band's name? Was just the School of Rock? I'm actually not sure of rock band name. Let's see. No Vacancy? Oh no, that's the name of that's the band that he's in before that. That's the band
he gets kicked out. Yeah, he gets kicked out of.
Yeah. Fort Town from Turning Red, and then the Max Rebo band, aka Max Rebo and his Jizz Whalers. Not bad teams. Honestly, making this draft, my pool for this, I was like, there's a lot less fiction. Like I'm like, oh, I could think of like a million musical performances that are amazing, but like they're not a ton of fictional ones. You know what I mean? A lot less, at least a lot less than I thought there were.
The only ones that you didn't name on my list were Powerline, Goofy Movie, and then Aldous Snow, Infinite Sorrow, who's like crossover. Like,
shout out to our boy.
Marksman, get into the great. Which, yeah, good songs, but honestly, Russell Brand is just so fucking annoying. I couldn't take him. Like, politics aside, the guy's just fucking annoying. And then Lady Raven. I legitimately think if we do this draft again in a year, I would take her.
She was
I've
good.
been listening to her songs all morning. It was good.
But yeah, that's the draft. What do we have coming up next week? Coming out.
This is a bad August. This is a
yeah.
Really
I mean, honestly,
August.
The summer's been mostly bad. I would say in general. But let's see. We do have the Instigators coming out, I believe, very soon. And I actually have that screen. I should watch that soon.
Also, another musical movie this weekend. I think I might see it tonight. Kneecap. That's like
and Dee Dee too.
Yes, and Dee Dee. Borderlands next week.
Oh God, that looks so fucking bad.
I can't bring myself to see that one. It looks awful.
It looks so fucking bad, dude. It looks disgusting. I don't know who they like blackmailed in order to get this cast involved in it. Man, it looks so bad. Borderlands, Cuckoo, yeah. People are talking a lot about that. Alien Romulus coming up soon.
Hell
I think for next week it would have to be
seeing that at Lincoln Square, baby.
Yeah,
opening night.
I think it'll be Instigators for this next week.
Yeah, is that already out?
It should be out now in certain theaters. Although it's Apple TV Plus, so I don't know if it goes straight there.
That stars our boy, my boy, Jack Harlow.
Oh. I was like, I don't know which one of these guys is going to be your boy. I have no clue. And I mean, it's got a fucking pretty huge cast. Damon Affleck, Hong Chow, Stolberg, Paul Walter Hauser, Ving Rhames, Alfred Molina, Toby Jones.
Yeah.
Jack Harlow and Ron Perlman. Man,
Jack
Harlow got billing over Ron Perlman.
Ooh.
It's bad news. But yeah, let's do Instigators because that'll be a fun one, I think. And I think it's something that's right up our alley, which speaking of, Logan Lucky came to streaming, I believe, today. On Hulu. Logan Lucky, one of the best heist movies that you'll ever see, in my opinion.
Cauliflower.
I love Logan Lucky. But yeah, so check out Instigators, and then we will come back and reassess with that. But until then, we'll see you guys next week.